I went to Hollywood, and I figured it was going to be pretty easy. And I went to the studios, and I said, "My name is Sidney Sheldon." I changed it by then. And I said, "I want to be a writer. Who do I see?" And the guards outside the studio gates all said the same thing. "You don't see anybody." And my time was running out. And one night, fortuitously, I heard about readers, people who synopsize stories for busy producers. And I had just finished reading Of Mice and Men, the wonderful Steinbeck book. So I sat down and wrote a synopsis, sent a copy to, there were then 8 major studios, sent it to each studio. Within 2 days, I'd heard from every one of them except Selznick. And they were all interested. They said when there was an opening, they would call me. The next day, I got a call from the Selznick studio asking me if I could write a synopsis and turn it in that evening. And I said, of course. What this involved was getting on a streetcar, riding toward Culver City, getting on a bus, going to the Selznick studios. This took most of the morning. And when I got there, they handed me a book to synopsize. And fortunately, I had met a young lady who was a secretary at MGM, which was just 2 blocks from the Selznick studio. So I ran over there with a book. It was around noon. And I asked her if she would skip her lunch and type up the synopsis, which wasn't written yet. She said yes. So I dictated the synopsis of the book to the typewriter as I read it. I managed to finish it by 6 o'clock, took the pages she had typed, ran to Selznick, turned it in just in time, and for that I got $3. The first job I got was at Universal Studios, run by a man called Papa Lemley. It was a very small studio. And when they hired me, I got $17 a week. I walked into those stages, and it was like magic. I had never been in a studio before. And it was, I knew that's what I wanted. I was just thrilled. And the one book I remember reading there was Meet John Doe. I read it, and my comment was that it was really 2 different stories. One was a comedy, one was a tragedy, and it wouldn't go together. And then to my horror, I read that someone had bought it, and I think Gary Cooper was the lead in it, and I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. But it came, it passed, and I was still doing reading. What happened was someone bought Universal from Papa Lemley. And as is customary in Hollywood, the minute it changed hands, everybody at the studio was fired, and all the new people came in. Well, I'm a $17 a week writer, but they still fired me. So Fox was interested in me, and I went over there and became a reader. And the readers there were about 15 readers. And they told me that it was a long haul and not to expect anything. About a month later, I got a raise. And a month later, I got a second raise. And then they asked me to read books just for Zanuck, books he was interested in buying right away. So I got another raise. And I later learned that all the readers there were relatives of somebody at the studio. They weren't really professional readers.